Hey guys, it's Vanessa. I thought it would be a good time for another update because Suzanne has now been gone for over 1 week. I wanted to go over some of the new information that has come out since the last video and then add in a little bit of information that I've received yesterday and today. Of course, the biggest news since the last video I put out was that Suzanne's husband Barry has now made a public plea for her safe return. There's two things that immediately jumped out at me about his statement. Number one, it's very, very short. And number two, it's pre-recorded and not done in, Chris Watts or Letitia Stout or any kind of with a reporter style. I'm not saying that to imply anything or to say that he's in the same category. I'm just saying that those popped off the top of my head as examples that we've seen recently where someone's been missing and they kind of do an open question with the reporter. That is not what this is. But he's pretty much damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. If he does, all of us are going to sit here and scrutinize every single thing about it. It's just natural to what's going to happen. If he didn't, which he didn't before he had already declined, I'm sure he got a lot of feedback that people were really suspicious about it and, it wasn't going over well with people. So either way, he's kind of screwed. So here's the 25-second statement from Barry Morphew.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you, we miss you, your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you, and I want you back so bad.
And I want to be clear, I always try to keep an open mind during these, and I'm continuing to try to do so. I definitely have some strong opinions on this based on the information that we have so far. Something new could come out today, tomorrow, and a lot of us will have different opinions, but based on what we have right now, definitely a lot of red flags. So let's play devil's advocate with this statement for just a minute. Obviously, he is fully aware that this statement is going to be analyzed by investigators and analyzed by the public over and over and over again. With an extremely short statement like this, obviously there's less time to say something wrong, less time to explain emotions or lack thereof, and just not as much for investigators or the public to pick apart. On the flip side, he may not be the type of person that expresses himself very well or likes to talk about emotions in that way. He's probably exhausted and emotionally drained. And of course, there's a possibility that he was specifically advised to make this very short, concise statement. Of course, there's a lot of conversation about why he waited until there was a lot of public sentiment, wondering why he hadn't made a statement yet. There's also a lot of people discussing why he appears to be shaking his head no through a lot of the statement. One interesting point that one of my friends brought up was that Barry's statement does seem to be directly addressing potential kidnappers that might want something in exchange for her return. And as we know, for the past couple of days, the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office dive rescue team has been searching all water sites for Suzanne. This has included all of the lakes, dams, and creeks in the Chaffee County area. So to her point, his statement addressing kidnappers does seem to somewhat conflict with the search efforts that seem to be going on in the background. And from what I was told, they will be returning and searching these watersheds again. The other thing that jumped out, of course, outside of how brief it was the pre-recorded aspect. I'm just going to state the obvious in that if he's doing a media-led interview, you've got to think on your feet, and there's a potential that they ask you a question that's going to knock you off your guard or that you're not going to answer in the best pre-thought out way. As an example, when I'm making these videos as compared to a live, totally different, completely different feeling. When I say something stupid on one of these, I can go back and redo it and fix it as many times as I need. So it makes you wonder if there was any kind of aspect to that, if he did take retakes, if he was trying to get it perfect per se, but that's definitely something that's a huge difference. When I do something stupid on a live, which inevitably happens, that's it. You have to go with it. When you're discussing the topic and you have the stakes of a missing person on the line, then that just might not be a risk you're willing to take. If you haven't watched my previous video on Suzanne, please do, because I go over a lot of the new information versus the rumors, and this video piggybacks onto that one. At the end of that video, I stated that my two biggest questions left were, when was the last time anyone actually spoke voice to voice with Suzanne, and if we even knew that she actually went on a bike ride. Well, I have some more information on that today. I'm sure most of you have heard the discussion now that the Morphew's cameras had allegedly not been functioning since 4 days prior to her disappearance. So then we have no cameras allegedly starting May 6th. It would be interesting to know when the girls left for their trip. So of course, when we hear that, coupled with the post that the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office put out asking for residents to preserve any camera footage that they have for them to come around and ask for, it really does make it even more important when the last time someone spoke to her voice to voice or saw Suzanne prior to Mother's Day. Based on the request of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, I'm beginning to wonder if that was May 8th. For those of you who haven't listened to it yet, here is the reverse 911 message that was sent out to the Chaffee County residents.
This is Under Sheriff Andy Rourke with the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office. Members of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, with the assistance of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and FBI, continue to search for Suzanne Morphew. Miss Morphew is a Chaffee County woman reported missing on May 10th, 2020. As the investigation into Suzanne Morphew's missing person case moves forward, Chaffee County residents are being asked to preserve any and all video footage from devices such as Ring doorbells, security cameras, game cameras, etc., from the dates of May 8th through May 12th. Citizens are only being asked to preserve the video at this time. Please do not send these videos to the Sheriff's Office or call the Sheriff's Office. As search areas are identified, investigators will contact residents in those locations to collect any camera footage within that May 8th to 12th window. Please do not call Chaffee County Dispatch with questions.
So let's talk a little bit about the time frame that day, since I was given a little more information. It's my understanding from someone who lives in the area that Suzanne actually left for her bike ride at 8 a.m. on Mother's Day. And there is that footage that allegedly exists of someone, Suzanne or someone, on her bike going by their residence. We don't know if that was put out intentionally or not, or if that's true or not, but now the call to the police makes much more sense. And this is just me speculating, but I'm going to assume that it might be true that the daughters did contact the neighbor after not being able to reach their mom on Mother's Day. It makes sense that if the girls have been gone on this camping trip for a few days, that they would be trying to reach their mom all day. So if Suzanne did leave for her bike ride at 8 a.m., that all kind of fits together. So I would also assume that if they couldn't reach their mother all day, by 5:30 or so, they would become very concerned. Maybe reach out to the neighbor possibly checked the footage, saw her go by or someone go by on the bike at 8 a.m., and that's when the police call was generated. Of course, rumors are running rampant in this case, and there have been rumors of people talking about a suspicious vehicle that was in the area that people had noticed, but again, just rumor at this point. And I touched on this a bit in the previous video, but the two biggest things holding me back from a stranger scenario is, of course, one, their failure to act alarmed or warn the public. And regardless of the investigation, they do have an obligation to warn the public if there is an immediate danger. The second thing, of course, is the reports of how her bike was found, which is without damage, propped up against a tree near Foose's Creek. Of course, add to that, you've got the rumors of the possible no fingerprints. You've got rumors of the dogs not picking up her scent. And I really don't think that if she was abducted, someone would stop to prop her bike up against a tree. Of course, now you have the rumors as well that her bike was found with the brakes locked up. So you put all that together, it's really odd. Of course, all of these facts about the way her bike was found are just rumors until confirmed by law enforcement. As far as the reports of the personal property that was found, my sources tell me that there were actually 2 pieces of personal property found of Suzanne's, not just one. As far as what that property actually was, of course, no one is going to say at this point. Once I did hear the rumor that she did not take her cell phone with her, I immediately went to the helmet because it's distinctive and it's something that you would expect to find with the bike. I would think in an abduction scenario that either you would find the helmet right next to the bike or it would have gone with her. But again, we will have to see what comes out about the personal property that was recovered. I would love to hear from any of you that are experienced mountain bike riders to let me know what your opinions are in comments about the rumor of her brakes being found locked up. So that's all for today's update. Again, I will be closely following this case and updating you guys on any new information that I get. If you have any additional information regarding the disappearance of Suzanne Morphew, please contact the FBI tip line. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified of any of my new videos.